Welcome back to the Amber Serpent, everyone. My name is Gulveg. It is March 28th. It's once again Rune Reading Wednesday. And we have a full moon coming up this Saturday, full moon in Libra. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of message the runes have for us as far as what is it that we need to know that would serve our best and highest good for the next week. So let's take a look. So for those of you who are new to Rune Reading Wednesday, keep in your mind's eye the question, what is it that I need to know most at this point in time for the next week? We're going to blow that intention into the runes. Hey, sweetie. This is Princess Pretty Paws. She's also known as Little Girl. She is obviously here to help us with the runes. She's bringing some of her kitty magic in. Thank you, sweetie. All right. Rune number 1, Fehu. Rune number 2, Tiwaz, Tears rune. And rune number 3, we have Isa, Ice rune. Okay, so this is very interesting because one of the themes that is coming up from the full moon is that of boundaries. So where my own interests as an individual end and where the interests of the community begins and vice versa. So here I see kind of a similar type of theme going on here. So we have Fehu, which Fehu is typically the rune of luck and prosperity, wealth, all of the good stuff. And, you know, back in the time of the Norse, the cattle and how many cattle you had was a sign of how wealthy you were. And then we have Tears rune, Tiwaz, which is a rune of justice as well as associated with the North Pole, so associated with like direction. It's also associated with, ironically enough, with the energies that are going on, self-sacrifice for the greater good. And then we have Isa, which is the ice rune, the rune of inertia, the rune of that signifies a object in movement will stay in movement, an object that is still will stay still. So what we have here is we definitely have the energies here of Fehu, this wealth, the luck, the prosperity. And here too, as far as like what I'm picking up with my intuition, it also has to do with wealth and prosperity as far as like the community goes. So in the next week or so, there may be a situation in which we have to create some sort of there might be a challenge where we have to have a decision where we have to make a decision between our own vested interest and that of others. And this balancing act, this decision, is going to, for the next week, seemingly put things a little bit on hold, or they might slow something down that we really want to see to fruition, which also actually aligns with Mercury being in retrograde, that it just went into retrograde this week. So Fehu, the wealth, the luck, the prosperity, all of that stuff is on its way, depending on how we balance the energies, depending on how we approach justice. And justice, I don't necessarily mean that there may be something that's a caustic or something that is unjust, so to speak, but just something where we may have to take a stand as far as we might have to say no. That may be difficult for some of us, especially if we happen to be kind of a people pleaser. We'll need to set some boundaries between what it is that we're willing to do for others, or we may be asked to ask for help from the community, and that may even feel like a type of sacrifice, so to speak, especially if we have a hard time asking for help. So definitely tapping into the direction as far as what it is that we need, asking for what it is that we need in order to bring about the momentum eventually that will allow us to attract more of all of the good stuff. It's not, the good stuff isn't necessarily going to show up this week though. It's something that's going to show up probably down the line. Right now, the situation is going to need to de-thaw, so to speak, in order for the good stuff to show up. But the trajectory or the inertia that we create by what the decisions that we make this week will either plant the seeds for the good stuff, for the luck, the wealth, the prosperity to flourish, to come about, or if we don't follow our guidance and don't take a stand for what it is that we need and what we know is the right decision, we may be foregoing some of that good stuff. So that's our Rune Reading Wednesday here for the week of March 28th. Looking forward to seeing you back here next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.